All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to another round of Trinity Competitive Racing for the Platinum class. We are here for round 3, the Brazilian Grand Prix, a special edition of the Platinum class as we have a sprint race and the 3-tire allocation. It should be a good one. My name is Camden Luca, and alongside me, per usual, is Golden Class driver Sir Charles. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. Happy to be here. Says it's going to be an exciting race. I know it was pretty exciting last night in Golden Class. Had a lot of variants and strategies, and even with no safety car, it was interesting to see how everything kind of came together at the end there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this, seeing what these guys do, and like I said, we already have some pretty quick times being set here early in quali.
Yeah, some quick times, including both Aston Martins 1-2 right now in the low 108s. What are we going to expect here? How many people do you think are going to get in the 107s? Well, I mean,
Well,
there's one of them.
Wow, that's a really quick lap. It's going to be... I don't know. That might be your pole sitter right there, but I'm going to say, I mean, we can go through it. I'd say at least... they're going to see at least 6 in the 107s. Because I'm thinking Lawrence, Vader, Seafreeze and D'Angelo, Silent, has... Okay, maybe more than 6, but Mebby, I haven't even mentioned him. I wouldn't be shocked if we see the top 10 on their 108 flat. If it's not the top 10, we're going to see a lot of people right around that 108 flat mark, in my opinion.
Yeah?
Yeah. One good thing with the 3-tire allocation, though, is that we do have clear weather guaranteed, so there's no guessing on that. Everyone's going to be going pretty much full out here. No secretly running to wet setups or any of that stuff, so probably good for some of the guys who don't necessarily like racing in the rain, but yeah, it's one less variable we have to deal with since we're introducing so many more variables into this race.
It is a very interesting race when it comes to complexity and just the amount of variables that we have to keep track of. Really, the driver who wins is not going to make any mistakes.
Yeah, it's true. And I will point out, there's a lot of guys who haven't put in a qualifying lap yet. I am a little bit surprised because, like I said, if you have to use a set of softs, and if you use 3 sets of softs in qualifying, like do 1 lap on each, which you can do, and like what I normally do, like most people normally do, well then your softs that you have to use in the race will then be scuffed with a lap or 2 on them. So it's kind of very interesting. I think the guys who haven't yet to put a lap in are kind of doing the right thing here. As we have Got Any Weed finally sets his first lap. Speaking of which, Got Any Weed, defending Golden Class Championship, is finally making his debut as a regular Platinum Class driver.
Yeah. I am very curious to see where his pace is going to stack up because we've seen some Golden Class drivers come in here, some as a reserve, but we've seen some move up to the Platinum Class, such as Rockstar, and they've had some pretty good runs.
Yeah. Rockstar's not here. He's on vacation, unfortunately. But yeah, D'Angelo, he hasn't been the fastest guy, but he's been solid top 10s, and I feel like in the case of D'Angelo, not being not really thinking about winning the championship, things really actually benefiting him in terms of his driving, because he's just been, steady Eddie and pretty much maximizing his points, I feel like, hasn't really done anything too spectacular, but, he's just solidly in the top 10, whereas last season, if you remember in the Golden Class, he was probably the fastest guy on the track most weekends, but I don't know if he's just thinking about the championship and overdriving it, but he just seemed to make way too many mistakes, and it was kind of, Ricky Bobby 2.0, if you win. He's either crashing out or winning the race, so I think his driving's improved as he's moved up the class here, which is what you want to see. Is B-Tom flexing a bit? He might be able to challenge Lawrence here.
This is kind of a resemblance of last week, where B-Tom was right on the rear wing of Lawrence, but just couldn't get by him, and B-Tom P2 right now with a great lap.
Yeah, Lawrence. The difference is last week Lawrence had a pretty poor qualifying, for whatever reason. I forget what he probably mentioned it in post-race interviews, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if they can hang with him being up front this time. 'Cause I don't really see him 107.4. I don't see him starting outside, but I mean, I don't know who else is going to make that half-second jump, because I mean that's really freaking fast. You know, Seafreeze is usually pretty decent here, and I know Vader, this is not one of his favorite tracks. You know, he's not. I don't know how he is in terms of pace around here, but it's just, you know, not one of his better tracks, if I remember correctly. No, he doesn't like it per se, but I said that doesn't always mean anything. Yeah, I just don't know who's going to challenge Taz and Lawrence there.
Well, one of them is on a lap right now. I'm not sure how this will be because Mebe invalidated the previous lap, and he is very low on battery coming to the finish line. We'll see where this stacks up.
Yep. And D'Angelo was on a lap, but he invalidated as Mebe goes P3. I'd forgotten all about Mebe. But yeah, he's always... will this be the day he finally puts it all together?
Maybe. He came 2 laps away in Australia. Last week he was in contention for a podium and had a slip on the final lap. And Mebe right now, P3, so I think it's just a matter of time that he gets on the top step of the podium.
And with the sprint and the 3-tire challenge, like I said, there's so many different strategies you can pick. What was your approach to strategy on Tuesday here? Because like I said, there's so many different directions you can go in the main race.
So I started on the medium tires, and I was really fortunate that the safety car came out right on lap 10, which is when I was going to pit off the mediums to go onto the hard tires, because I really think if you have a fresh set of soft tires for the end of the race, especially if we get a late safety car the way that we did on Tuesday, that might be the way to go. I would be a lot more comfortable having that set of soft tires late in the race, especially if you get in a situation where we have like a 3-lap dash to the finish.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there, but that all depends on the safety cars too. I kind of did the same thing, except I started on the hards. Of course, starting in the back. You know, usually, like I said, in terms of track position and dicing into the front, you know, you probably don't want to start on the hards because you're at such a disadvantage. But like I said, the hards are, like I said, hards do still feel pretty decent on here. And of course, like I said, I was at the back, so I had nothing to lose. I felt I had to do something different to get up front. And let me tell you, I think I'll actually really like the strategy. If it weren't for a couple of unforced errors on my part, I would have had a really, you know, finished 5th or 4th, or had a really good result out of it. Still didn't have a bad race, but like I said, I really liked, as the race went on, it just, you know, once I switched off my hards, I felt like I was the fastest guy on the track pretty much the entire rest of the race, at least of the guys around me, and that's what I really liked about the strategy. But of course, one of the things that helped me with that strategy is that we didn't have any safety cars. Which, honestly, that could throw a wrench in everything. Like I said, with the hards, if you start on the hards and get an early safety car, that really kind of upsets that strategy, because you're just kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, and with a forced 2-stop at least, you don't want to waste a safety car and, you know, not pit. So
yeah,
it's going to be some compromises.
Oh, for sure.
These guys are going to have to make.
As Chargers up in the P13, about 3 seconds faster than his previous lap, which was a 1:11, and, well, I guess you could say the rich get richer. Lawrence put up a 107.2, which puts him over 2/10 ahead of anybody else.
I want to point out, in his debut here, the guy who said he was done playing the game after last season is now in P3.
Mm-hmm.
Not expecting that, especially since he was kind of nowhere in terms of pace last season. Sorry, Bats, for watching this back, but it's kind of true. The Season 12 Gold Class champion and former winner in the Platinum Class. Yeah, really looking good here at Brazil, and let's hope he can get back to his previous form, because like I said, he just hasn't had much luck with this game, it seems like. He definitely shown flashes, and like I said, think back to the All-Star race last season, definitely he's shown flashes that he can still hang with these guys, so it'll be interesting to see if how his pace is in race situations.
Yeah, he is on a lap right now. We'll see if he can improve, but man, he's going to have to do a lot of
D'Angelo
work just to get up to P2.
Yeah, D'Angelo just invalidated his second qualifying lap in a row. And Weeb is on an in-lap.
Yeah, D'Angelo was talking with me throughout this week, and he isn't too comfortable about this race, even though he won the Golden Class race here last season. But we'll see what kind of progress D'Angelo makes.
That Golden Class race was a monsoon, let me tell you. So
That's
there's
right.
not a whole lot you can take from that race to apply it to this. But
I agree. As Mebe is heading towards Sector 3, he is up by 1/10 and a half.
It'll be interesting. Here he goes into the last sector. Oh, he's not up by a whole lot there, but he looked like he got a pretty good exit here. I don't think it's going to challenge the top two, but it might jump him ahead of his teammate here.
It'll be close. Not.
Oh, wow, it's a lot closer than I thought it was.
Yeah, P3, not quite P2, but a great lap from both Haas's so far. And I'm telling you, Charles, if Bats shows up the whole season and has that type of pace, I mean, are we talking about Haas being a late contender for the constructors?
Yeah, I'm not going to put too much on one qualifying lap from Bats. Let's see how he does in the race first. I don't want to declare these guys contenders just yet, but I think obviously the leader in the clubhouse, in terms of pace and just results this season, would be Vader and Silent. Of course, they're not showing too strongly here so far, but yeah, I'd say they're still the favorites in my book. It will be interesting to see, maybe, I don't know, apparently Haas will no longer be receiving favors from their Russian friends, so I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the season.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, we are at that loophole in qualifying where everybody seems to go into the pits to set themselves up for one final run. We do have a couple of people on a lap right now, including TJ, who has been off to a slow start this season, but he's about to get himself ready to go here to see what he can do.
There. There's number 6 under 108, and Seagrass in P7, I'll shout him out. Definitely was not that fast yesterday in qualifying, but it's nice seeing improvement.
I agree. TJ through Sector 1, better by 2/10, so if he does that throughout all 3 sectors, he could find himself in the 107s.
Yeah, definitely. And that Senna S is so hard to get right. You can gain and lose so much time through there, and it's probably the one corner that probably the most crucial in course in terms of time. And here it's all just about getting nice and smooth inputs, braking and throttle, and just not doing anything crazy. And of course, last corner, just make sure you get a good run off. Don't mess up. Ooh, that's a really good lap for TJ. Looks like he's going to be...
Oh, and he spins out.
What did I say? Just make sure you don't screw up. That's all you got to do.
And he's got a sign surfing on his helmet right there. He took out one of the signs in the progress of that.
He might be beached on the sign.
Oh yeah, look at him. He had to reset the track. His wheels were going crazy there.
Yeah, usually that's a big no-no in TCR, but if you're beached like that, it's better than getting disqualified. So I think we'll let that slide there.
True. Dirt Shark up a couple of places, a 108.3, so he puts himself in the teens, but I'm sure he will want to make up some spots in the race.
How crazy is that? A 108.3 is in 15th. Oh, sorry, I probably heard my phone there in the background.
Yeah, what was that?
that was my phone. That was the stream. I always like having my the stream up as well, so I can look at comments and stuff. But anyway, and also look at your views from what you're seeing in terms of like replays and stuff. Yeah, now everyone on the lap, literally everyone on the lap,
except for Lawrence. He just stopped, so it looks like Lawrence's qualifying is done.
Been swerving to the line. He jumps up a few spots.
We have
Wu retired.
A Haas coming to the line to start his lap. That is Bats Plus. We'll see what he can do, but everybody out on track right now.
There's literally everybody. Looks like
Literally.
C-Freeze is probably going to be one of the next to cross the line, at least on an actual lap. Actually, we had them both Mercedes coming off. Looks like Lawrence might be giving a tow to Raikkonen here, but C-Freeze off the final corner.
Raikkonen P7.
There's number 7 under 108. C-Freeze can do.
He's got it. 107.9 P6.
Solid improvement for him.
Oh.
As in he immediately gets dropped by Vader. Or, yeah. Or no, D'Angelo, his own teammate.
Yeah, D'Angelo P5.
Meanwhile, Vader approaching the last hairpin here.
Let's see what Vader can do. He's about equal.
Yep, just over half a tenth up. Like I said, sector 3 is so teasers. You don't know, like, if they mess up that one corner in sector 3, it could be huge. You saw that with TJ. To the line, well, just a solid run.
Oh, just ahead of Bats Plus. Whoa,
Speaking
look
of Bats
at
Plus, Bats Plus coming to the
lap.
line, and he does not improve. Yeah, maybe with a big jump there.
That is a really good lap.
Seegers is invalidated. What about Raikkonen? He's coming to the line. And he's coming into the pits. That should be everybody.
That is everybody. So Lawrence continuing where he left off in week 2 at the top of the grid with Mebe right behind him. And we said this earlier, but Mebe's been close the past couple of weeks. Is this the week where Mebe does it, where he puts a whole race together?
I believe I said there would be 10. I wouldn't be surprised if there was 10 under 108. We got 9, so we got close.
That's a pretty good prediction, though, Charles. If you said there was going to be 10 people in the 107s and there's 9 with Segrist being like right outside the 107s, that's a pretty good prediction.
Silent. But look at, I mean, this is just insane to me. Like, I mean, 108.1 is 12th. Like, that is a really good lap.
I agree. And, I mean, you look at even, like, the top 5, they're only separated by 0.4, but they're all in, like, either the mid-107s or the very low 107s, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You got Aston Martin's back-to-back, 6th and 7th. You have Mercedes both in the points here, but you know what, Charles? You know what the great thing about today is? You know what the great thing is? We get 2 predictions. So, who are you taking for the sprint race?
You know what? I'm going to say. I'm going to say B-Tom. Taz is going to get past Lawrence and Mebby. It's going to be interesting to see Taz. I forgot about Mebby in second, so maybe not. You know what? I'm going to say Taz is going to be aggressive here. He knows how to be aggressive. He knows how to push people around. And see, this time he'll be racing with Lawrence on equal tires, because the sprint race, we've been talking about strategy a lot. The sprint race is pretty simple. Put on mediums and go 12 laps. There's not a whole lot of thought that you need to put into there. So I'm going to say Taz is going to jump up there. And then, yeah, I'm just going to say he's going to knock the top 2 down. I'm going to say Taz, Lawrence, and Mebby for the top 3. In that order.
All right. Well, you know what? I think Lawrence has the pace. I think all he needs to do is get a good start. If he can get off the line clean, I think Lawrence has got the sprint race wrapped up. So I'll take him P1. I'll do B-Tom P2. I like your analogy. I think he's going to be aggressive here, and he's going to get by Mebe. And then, I don't know, I see Mebe making a mistake, and I think Darth Vader is going to swoop his way into P3.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how some of the guys like Vader, and especially C-Freeze. C-Freeze is known for having much better race pace than he does qualifying pace. Same with Silence. Silence probably, I saw him talking in the chat earlier, like he said, it's like he has like 1 pole of all of TCR. And, so it'll be interesting to see him come through the field, because he's starting 11th. So, yeah, sprint race, only top 8 get points here in the sprint. you know, first place gets 8 points, second place gets 7 points, on down to 1 point for P8.
Yeah. We do have a prediction in the chat. Jabbar says Lawrence beat Tom Mebe for his top 3.
All right. Well, there's a lot of people doubting Mebe here. Let's see if he can prove some of us wrong there. Like I said, if Mebe, it's just a matter of him putting together a full race. Of course, this is not a full race; it's a sprint. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see here too. And also, you know, you got to keep it. As I imagine, this will be a factor more in the full race, but track limits can also be an issue. There's a lot of places where you can get track limits here, particularly to Senna S. But also other places, exit of turn 4, for instance. As well as the exit of, I believe, turn 6, the long uphill right-hander. Real easy just to get over the line and get a warning.
Yeah, there's a lot of curbs here that can get you. Like you said, turn 4, the Senna S's. The curbs are really, they'll eat you. They'll eat you up here in Brazil.
I mean, that's what got me. That's what got me yesterday too. The exit of the final real corner, in sector 3, as well as the exit of turn 4. Them curbs are sneaky. It's like you can you hit them 5 times in a row, and the 6th time you hit it, it'll grab you. But yeah, you grab too much curb on turn 3, that can also upset the car. But usually just track limits there to Senna S. Everyone's lining up, and Stanley does not know how to. Speaking of which, you need to learn how to park, Camden. I noticed that in your races.
Hey, I did it for the main race, okay? The first 3 rounds, if you include the sprint race, I couldn't park, but I've got some experience under my belt this season, I guess. Here we go. 5 red lights on the grid. Lights out. Well, it showed 5 red lights. Don't do me like that, game. Lights out, and away we go from the sprint race. Who gets off the line good? Lawrence and Mebe side by side down into turn 1. Mebe's got the inside line. Who's going to come away with it? There's a little bit of contact there, but Lawrence has the advantage, and B-Tom is right on his rear wing.
Just looking further back in the pack, it looks like everyone got through cleanly so far.
Yeah, Silent trying to make up some positions here. They're side by side right in front of him. We have an Aston Martin going off the track a little bit. That's D'Angelo. He's under pressure from Silent.
Yeah, not a great start for Silent. Not a good start for the Aston Martin. C3's down 2 spots. D'Angelo down 1. Andy Woov also a flying start. Oh, we got 1 car around. Somewhere in the back. It's Chargers, yeah. Andy Wu muscling Vader out the way. Is Vader going? Trying to go to the inside, but I think he just got it stopped in time.
Late move there, but all good. We saw an incident there on Tuesday in that corner. Segrist and Stanley side by side as TJ goes around in the back. Oh, yeah, good thing Ghosting's on.
Yes, that downhill sweeper, it's so easy to get the car upset there. That's a real setup corner. If you get a good setup there, that corner tends not to give you an issue. But if you have a really aggressive setup, that corner can give you fits throughout the race.
Tight battle here in the midfield. D'Angelo has not had the best of starts as we have a yellow in the back. Looks like Ben Swervin is around out of the S's.
Silent on D'Angelo. Thinks about it. Wasn't quite far enough alongside. D'Angelo gave him plenty of room, though, so that's good to see.
Yeah, if we look at the position changes, Andy, you mentioned him earlier. He's gone up 3 spots right here, and he's doing a good job of holding off Vader.
Yeah, so he had a really aggressive move on him in the first lap. And he's just now trying to stay in contact with the cars in front of him.
Oh, don't jinx him. Don't jinx him.
That was a weird one. Oh, and now we have... What's going on? Did he just have a... Is that like a netcode glitch? Or what are we seeing here?
Looks like it, because he really got sideways. I think the outcome was worse than the screen was showing, but he is under pressure now from Seafreeze for P8. This is a mess.
That was so weird.
Looks like they get through. Look at this single foul train.
Around.
Oh, no!
Fire.
He's around, and there's an Alpine around. That's Segrist.
Well, Seagrass made it farther than he did yesterday, so he got that in his cap.
Not as far as last week, though.
Yeah.
Ugh.
For those of you who missed it, in the sprint race yesterday, Seagrass did not make it to turn 1 before crashing out. So he is doing much better today, although Seagrass, to be fair, he came back and finished 4th in the main race, so he made a good recovery.
True. Hey, you know what? He crashed in lap 1 yesterday. He crashed in lap 3 this race. So if you do patterns, he's going to crash on lap 5 in the feature race. I'm calling it right now.
I don't know about that. Based off the Golden Class racer right now, I'd say Seagrass has everyone just where he wants them right now.
How so?
He came back yesterday and finished 4th from starting dead last. So I mean,
oh no!
Yeah. First disconnect.
Seafreeze of all people. Seafreeze, you need to get back in here. Stop walking the dog. Get back in here.
Yeah, wouldn't be having these issues if he stayed on PlayStation, but I digress. Crossplay issues.
I'm glad you're saying everything that we're thinking.
Anyway, Lawrence trying to stretch out the gap.
Yeah.
Not quite being...
Yeah,
looks like
you know
top
what, though?
3. Go for it, yeah.
Yeah, Lawrence, he's not pulling away, really. I said if he gets off the line, then he's going to be off into the sunset, but he's keeping Mebe within that 1 second gap, but he's a little bit ahead of it right now.
Yeah, that's going to be key for Mebe. But if you look at Mebe, Mebe's almost breaking away from Taz. Now, it'll be interesting to see if Taz can start wheeling him back in now that Mebe doesn't have that DRS pull. But yeah, I mean, Bats Plus almost out of about 9/10 back of Taz. Top 4 are all fairly equally spread apart, as I imagine Mebe's dumping battery here to try and catch back up.
Yeah, he's down to 30%.
And Darth Vader all over D'Angelo. That's probably going to be where the next move's going to come from. And I imagine he has the pace to get up with these guys, just did not quite have the start. He's dumping battery, he's dumping... They got DRS, and this should be a fairly simple move, and it is.
Great move there. D'Angelo a little sideways on the curb, so he's going to have to resort to 6th, maybe 7th here, but Silent does not have any battery.
Yeah. Silent, he's been using all that up to try and get ahead of Seafreeze. As Seafreeze... Oh, and Vader just picked up a warning, I'm sure. Yeah,
we don't... We're hesitant to check the race director, at least I am, because D'Angelo was commentating on Tuesday. He went to the... Oh, speaking of him, he's around. He went to the race director on Tuesday, and it crashed the game for him.
Yeah, it looks like he kind of saved it anyway. Didn't lose a ton of time, you'd think, but still lost enough time. He's out of the points now. Remember, only the top 8 get points in the sprint. And Silent continues to climb the ladder from P11. Albeit through Aston Martin misfortune on this past lap.
Oh, this is close. Him and Raikkonen side by side for P6, and he clears him for now. What will Raikkonen do?
Oh, he's got DRS. Raikkonen can't do anything. And that should be a weird little glitch on my screen. Oh, we got a car around in the back. That's TJ around again.
Yeah, not a good start to the season for TJ. And keep in mind, people, after this sprint race, we go right into the main race. So wherever you finish in the sprint is where you're going to start for the feature.
Yeah. Now, that is also a good thing for some of the guys in the back, because they can, in theory, just have a nice little reset. And, the big points are paid out in the main race, albeit with almost a full grid here today. The guys in the back are going to have a lot of work to do still to get points. Has Seafreeze asked for an invite?
I have not seen something, but if you could get him one, that would be superb.
Alright, I'll get on that.
Alright. Well, Silent is a little far back from P5, which means about 3 or 4 cars behind him are in the Silent train, and there's a little tightness going on for 7th and 8th. Stanley and D'Angelo, that last point, like you mentioned there, only the top 8 get points in the sprint race, and it goes down from 8 to 1. So, for example, Lawrence will get 8 points, and as of now, Stanley's getting the last point. We'll see who gets that point, but it's a tight battle for that last point.
Stanley has shown flashes of the pace, the race-winning pace he has had. It'll be interesting to see if he can hang on for this last point. As
Contact! D'Angelo spins him out!
That was contact, wasn't it? I was on board with Stanley there. It looked pretty obvious, and Stanley, that was a sketchy rejoin there.
Yeah, thank God for ghosting. Oh, but TCR F1 Racer trying to make an easy pass on Segrist. Segrist pretty aggressive, though. Will he fight this? No.
Yeah, no points in line for these guys, but they're trying to get the best start possible for the main race. Segrist now all over him, and I think he'll have a good shot at him down into turn 4.
Yep, here he goes to the outside.
F1 Racer sticks it in there still, but...
Oh, Charger's trying to look to the left, and they're side by side heading into the right-hander. This is a mess.
It's very opportunistic for Chargers there, but he made it work. Now Stanley trying to gain some spots back. F1 Racer gives him a bit of room. Nothing doing.
Not ideal to try and pass into turn 6, that right-hander, but they all made it work. And yeah, like you said, just try and get the best spot you can. As Ben Swervin, that's in the pits. He's had a miserable sprint race.
Yeah, might as well save your tires at this point.
Well, B-Tom is right there with Mebe, and you know, I said earlier that Lawrence wasn't really pulling away, but now he's got a 2-second gap on just 9 laps.
Yeah, now, you know, Taz is now pressuring Mebe. They both pulled away from Bats Plus, who's riding comfortably by himself in P4. Vader, comfortably by himself in P5. Silent, got Raikkonen still on him. And now D'Angelo is going to be pressuring, we're trying to get into that DRS range, although penalty incoming, it could be Cam receiving the final point in this sprint race, if things hold the way they are. Got any lead? Haven't said anything about him, but he's quietly up 4 spots, just avoiding the chaos.
Yeah, good run for him, considering he's missed the first couple of races. New Platinum class driver this season, but he's holding his own against some experienced Platinum guys like Cam, who's right in front of him.
And Cam is flashing. Got any Weep still has some battery left.
Yeah, you can see that off of Got Any Weeb's on board, that Cam has used all of his battery, and Got Any Weeb is not as superior when it comes to the battery saving. He's only at 20%.
Yeah, but I mean, that was something he was always good at last year in the Golden Class race. He's using it now. I wouldn't have used it then. He's not close enough to really challenge, and now that advantage is completely gone, so don't really agree with that there. I would have saved it for another lap, trying to get a little bit closer, but we'll see if he can get the position anyway. Now D'Angelo is pulling up to the back of Raikkonen, so we could have a 3-way battle for P6.
Yeah, right. 3-way battle for P6. B-Tom, I don't know if he's going to get there, Charles. I think we doubted Mebe in this sprint race, and he's going to be able to hold on ahead of B-Tom. Well, you know what? I just noticed the battery, though. B-Tom has been harvesting a lot of it.
Yeah, so he could just be waiting to pounce. He's going to have one really good chance. Mebe definitely weaving a bit. So it looks like the main battle on track is going to be for P2. Keep an eye on some battles further down the order, but doesn't look like there's much going on, aside from Andy Wu and Dirt Shark for P15.
That's the real battle right there. A battle for outside of the points. Well, like I said, though, I mean, I think they should be fighting for this because this does determine where you start for the main race. Look at TJ making a wild swing to the left-hand side. He's going to force this, isn't he? Yep, to the left-hand side through turn 4, and they're side by side for P16 as Seafreeze's Ghost looks right behind him.
Maybe spun! Maybe just spun!
Oh,
Oh no! On the last lap of the next to last lap of the sprint race, that's not what you want to do.
I'm telling you, turn 12 has been so tricky. We've seen TJ spin there earlier. We saw D'Angelo lose the back end of the car. Stanley spun out there. It is a tricky corner.
Yesterday. D'Angelo and Raikkonen side by side. Now they're going to be right behind Mebby, whose tires are going to be on fire.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. At least he's still getting points, right? The sprint race gives out points to the top 8, and Mebe, as of now, will come away with 3.
And with the 3-tire special, I mean, P6 isn't the end of the world, but man, you just... I mean, he showed decent pace. All he had to do is get off the line and get ahead of Lawrence. I think maybe could have challenged, but yeah, I mean, the exit of turn 12 is so tricky because that curb is sometimes has grip, sometimes has just straight ice. It doesn't seem to make much sense half the time.
Lawrence is going to continue where he left off in Japan by winning the sprint race by over 3 seconds. He will start on pole for the feature race. B-Tom P2. Hey, that was my prediction. I said B-Tom would come in behind Lawrence, and Bats Plus returning to the grid, and he gets a podium in the sprint race, so good start from him.
D'Angelo P7, Raikkonen, and it's Cam and Gani Webrown at the top 10. The guys outside the points, but like I said, they're with D'Angelo possibly looking at a time penalty for his contact with Mebby. Who knows? And TJ gets, I think F1 Racer ran out of gas at the end.
Yeah,
one thing we should note is that this Brazil is a track that you do have to overfuel your car at Brazil for the most part, which is unusual. Usually you underfuel by about a lap for a 50% race.
Yeah, I noticed though, like he was dropping. I didn't know if he was letting his teammate by right there, but I think you're right. I think he just ran out of fuel. And
yeah, I was able to hop on board with him for a brief second there. He was clearly out of fuel there.
All right, can you? Well, I guess you can't do it now, but can you get Seafreeze another invite once the session restarts here? Just because he reset his game, so we'll try and make sure I suggested a lobby reset just because I think would be a good idea to do in between these two, but
you can't do that for one person though. As unfortunate as that is, I mean it's the way this game is sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. But how about Silent coming from P11 to finishing P5?
Yeah, definitely capitalized on some misfortune there at the end. But yeah, he made some bold lap 1 moves and was able to hold position and just, capitalize on other guys making mistakes. So I think Silent's now entered the chat in terms of a possible race winner, and now we get to see the strategies. We're probably obviously going to have a couple minutes here. As I'll send Seafreeze another request if I can. But yeah, we're going to see the strategies. I think we're going to see a mix of all the tires. Particularly if you're at the back. I think if you're at the back, starting on hards is a good move. I think like I said, I just don't like starting on softs is good because you can get off of them if there's an early safety car. And he's back.
Yay, Seafreeze! Round of applause. Well, you know what that means, Charles. We're going to do predictions yet again. Who do you got?
Man. Well, honestly, Lawrence, I just don't see him. He just hasn't made any mistakes so far. I mean, so until I see a crack in the armor, it's hard to bet against him. Don't say Lawrence is going to win. I'm not really stepping out on much of a limb here in terms of my predictions, but I'm going to go B-Tom, P2, and then I'm going to go, I think Vader, just steady Eddie. Again, he doesn't really make much mistakes either. He's going to end up P3, even though this isn't his most favorite track, but I think he's going to end up at P3. So, not exactly stepping out on a limb with either of those predictions there, but, based off what I've seen so far, think that's pretty safe bet, or about as safe as you can be.
I agree. Well, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here, and this is only going to work if we see a lap 1, turn 1 incident. But I think there's going to be contact with Lawrence, and he is not going to win this race. I am going to say that Darth Vader, I don't know Star Wars, but what do we call him? Like the Jedi, whatever?
Sith Lord. I mean, he used to be Skywalker, so he is Darth Vader because he's gone to the dark side. Okay,
so King of the Dark Side is going to win this race. I'm going to go. I think Silent. I'm going to go Ferrari 1-2. I think Silent gets P2, and I think Lawrence is fast enough to where even if something happens, he'll end up getting P3. But I'm telling you, Charles, there's going to be something happening.
A lot more hard tires than we've seen in either of the previous 2 races.
Wow, you are right. Take a look at this. Barely any people starting on the medium tires. Only 4 drivers on the mediums and 5 on the softs.
Yeah, and that's really interesting there. And I'll tell you, look at the top. B-Tom is on softs, Lawrence is on hards. I think we're going to see B-Tom get the jump, and I think Lawrence is just going to have to keep it steady, and it's going to be interesting to see how he does with some guys in traffic. But the thing is, him and Bats Plus could probably get past him, but I think he's got the pace to hold off the other guys. But yeah, it's we didn't see very many guys start on hards in either of the previous 2 races, and now it's like half the grid, so interesting to see the shift change there. But yeah, surprised not more guys are starting on mediums, to be fair. But that's very interesting. But I will say, yeah, because softs and mediums are the 2 tires where if you get an early safety car, you can pit. And I think that's why, softs and mediums have been popular. Hards, you can't really do that, so it's going to be interesting to see if there's an early safety car, how that impacts these guys' races.
I believe Seafreeze is back in here, but he's starting P17. His ghosted car is up here towards the front, so maybe he's just ghosted on my screen, and maybe we're all good, but I don't know. Oh, B-Tom can't park.
Yeah, he's ghosted on my screen. I can't. And now he jumped into his parking spot. I don't know if he's. I don't know if he's in control of his car. I hope he is. Oh no, he just got DQ'd, so I think he's in control of his car. You can't get DQ'd if you're not in control of your car, right? I think that's how that works.
Alright, here we go for the feature race. 1 race down, 1 race to go. Lights out and away we go from the Brazilian Grand Prix. Who gets a good start? Lawrence does not. Here comes B-Tom on the inside with Mebe, with Bats Plus in behind him. Mebe a little farther down than his teammate. They're side by side for P2, and Bats Plus gets by Lawrence. Mebe and D'Angelo exchanging positions, and D'Angelo is now side by side with the Red Bull for 7th.
Cam on the softs, I expect him to get that position pretty easily, and he does. Once again, pretty tame throughout the pack. No real incidents all the way down through, although apparently Seafreeze has been DQ'd outright.
Huh.
I don't know what happened there. That's a bit confusing. But anyway, that's really unfortunate for Seafreeze, because the season started so well. Obviously, he didn't get points last week either, but yeah, can keep Taz in check there. See Taz already up to 7/10 lead, and can Silent, who got around his teammate, challenge Lawrence here.
Yeah, Lawrence down to P3, which was expected, but he did not get a great start on those hard tires. And now the question is, how patient is Lawrence going to be throughout this race? I think he needs to realize that he will have the advantage later on. That's early.
Yeah, he must have picked up wing damage, or maybe this is a whole strategy pull. Just if he can just get in clean track, hammer out some good laps. I feel like you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot there, but hey, you never know.
True. As Segrist is hunting Raikkonen. Raikkonen is on the hard, so Segrist is going to need to get by him really quick.
Yeah, there's a pretty big difference between softs and hards at this track, I feel like. So much more grip. I will say this, Raikkonen does appear to have a much more straight line speed than Segrist is on board with him last lap too. Segrist, I thought he was going to go for it, but he decides better of it.
He's peaking. I think. Oh, what a
That
save!
Is a really good save. Oh, all right. Now don't blow it yet. You know, your tires are on fire. Just be calm for a couple corners. Lord, I don't know how he pulled that one off.
That is the best save I've seen all season long. That corner, man, I'm telling you, that long left-hander has been tricky for these Platinum guys, but now Segrist and Gottney Weeb duking it out.
Yep, and Ben Swerve on TJ further back.
Oh!
Swerving, and TJ tags him! I don't know if TJ had help from behind as well, but Ben definitely gave him plenty of room there.
I did not catch that.
Yeah, there was a giant... Oh, they're 3 wide!
Whoa, yep, I see this! Look out! They make it work somehow.
The only thing, there was a bit of a wad behind him, and TJ might have had some help from behind, but if not, it looks like he just kind of washed up into Ben, because Ben, like I said, Ben definitely gave plenty of room on the inside there. So unfortunate for Ben. That really was not of his own doing. Segrist now back to 10th. Now, I will say, Bats Plus doing a pretty good job of sticking with B-Tom. Lawrence doing a pretty good job of just staying outside of DRS. And what happened?
TJ, no, nothing happened. TJ almost got into the back of F1 Racer, and I don't know how these guys are not crashing. Whoa, look at this battle.
Past Raikkonen, now here comes Segrist. Oh, and TJ just sped onto the pit road. Yeah, that's going to hurt this race.
Oh, Gottney
Raikkonen. Raikkonen has a lot of straight line speed, whatever setup he's running. I noticed that on lap 1. And that could frustrate a lot of guys. We have a yellow. Who is... No, that's Ben again. Ben just cannot seem to get going here. That's real unfortunate. So now Segrist's got to be patient on Raikkonen here.
How patient is he willing to be? I mean, these softs can only go a few more laps before they start to fall off, and Segrist has not made much progress on these tires.
And if you're looking at key battles here, Lawrence has pulled away from Silent as well as Vader. Of course, Vader's right in Silent's DRS, so that's going to be important. It'll also be important to see if Lawrence can claw back that extra 10th. And Ben Swerven has retired. He retired in pits. Got a little excited there for a second. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Lawrence can possibly claw back that gap and get within DRS. If he can get back in DRS on hard tires before these guys pits, I think it's going to be a huge win for him. Oh, and he got Mebby around!
D'Angelo is around.
Oh, they must have both gone around there. Sorry, we missed that. Meanwhile, Segrist could not get past Raikkonen. Again, they were side by side heading down to turn 4. There's a train behind Raikkonen all the way back to Dirt Shark. And, yeah. Oh, and Mebby's around! He saved it, but yeah, I didn't catch any of the Mebby D'Angelo incident, did you?
No, not at all. Man, it seems like there's people having a really hard time getting back going. Their tires are really hot, and I think TJ is retiring. And who is that that's off the track? That's Ben's car, his AI car. But what a crazy start, Charles. I can't keep up with all this.
Yeah. And I noticed, I did notice that yesterday. Like when I spun, that next lap was just awful. And I was on, and I only half spun, like I didn't do a full loop. As Vader pressuring his teammate now, and Segrist finally gets past Raikkonen.
Yeah, he's made up a few spots now after being in P10 for an eternity. He's made up some spots, and now he's got Gottney Weeb in his sights.
Yep, and Gottney Weeb, again, showing solid pace, and Gottney Weeb usually doesn't make mistakes, so he's just going to be steady Eddie. I would not be surprised if he got a decent finish, as Mebby has retired for good. Will this be a safety car? It will.
I caught that. He crashed out of turn 2, must have lost the back end of the car, and this is going to make things interesting with strategy.
Yeah, and I'll say this: the guys who are on hards did not want to see that. I mean, you can take mediums a long way, so I have a feeling everyone will be pitting here. But mediums to softs, you're going to be stretching those tires the whole way. The guys who start on softs and mediums, this really won't affect their race much at all. I think we're going to see everyone come to the pits. It'll be interesting to see the guys in hards. They'll put the guys on hards in a bit of a tough spot here. And
Yeah.
get everyone into the pits.
Look at Lawrence coming in. What will Lawrence do here?
It'll be interesting to see what tire they put on, too. Lawrence putting on the mediums. I think that's smart. Silent stayed out.
Silent might be the only person to stay out here.
And both Taz and B-Tom, or that's the same person. B-Tom and Bats kept on hards. It looks like everyone else is either putting on mediums or hards. No one putting on softs, although I think maybe Chargers is putting on softs. Chargers the only one putting on softs, so he's going to be looking to make up spots, as well as D'Angelo.
Keep an eye out for Cam. He's going to end up P8 here. He's also staying out.
Yeah, but he only has 5 laps. I think he spun early. Yeah, he spun early and onto the hards. Remember, he's the one who pitted off the softs on lap 1. So he's already used 2 tires. This probably isn't the ideal place for him, but he'll be fine. He's in a better spot than the other guys on hard tires because those tires are scuffed a bit, so he won't have the first lap on cold hards is pretty tough, so he won't have to deal with that as much. That's good for him. And Silent, that's going to be interesting. Silent's going to need another safety car for his race to work out, and even then, he still will likely be at a disadvantage here.
It seems like Silent and B-Tom just can't get away from each other. The first race at Australia, they were battling for the lead and they had contact, and off the start last week, they were 1 and 2 neck and neck, and they just seem to keep finding each other on the track.
And who is that? Andy Wu pitting. Wonder why he's pitting.
Maybe pick the wrong tires?
Maybe. We shall see. Yeah, I mean, that does not count in terms of tire allocation. He had 0 laps on the mediums. Oh, he had to change wing. How did he pick up wing then? He probably just forgot to set his wing change. That's probably all that was. So he's now on the old hards. Oh boy, he's on. That's not what he wanted to do. Oh, Andy.
Disaster for Andy here. Not sure what is going on here, but probably something that he didn't mean to do.
Yeah, so if you're Andy right here, what you do is you hang back so the safety car doesn't come in, and then you pit and put on the softs or the mediums that you had on in the first place.
But you're saying he needs a safety car, though, right?
I'm saying he just needs to not catch up to the field. I mean, it's kind of cheeky to do that, but I mean, because he just pitted. I think he started on softs or mediums. No, he started on hards, so he just pitted to put on the mediums. But he forgot to change wings, so he had to come back in to change wings again. So now he's going to come back in the pit. The safety car stays out. Oh, and it's not.
Last second decision for the safety car to come in. Well, everybody is here, so I guess we can get going. But they probably should have done another lap. Silent goes.
Yeah, Silent goes real quick. Lawrence is on Bats Plus. Bats Plus and B-Tom need to hold up Lawrence for as long as possible here.
Oh, man. Oh, Lawrence sideways. He's trying to do everything he can to stay with Bats Plus.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. For Andy, he needed to help the lay back so the safety car wouldn't come in. Obviously, he didn't do that. I mean, that's kind of manipulating the game a little bit, but I'd be lying if I said I haven't done it a couple times.
Well, take a look at Guy Weave. He's gotten up a few positions here on those hard tires in P6.
Yeah, and he's in a pretty good spot here. Just got to maintain, try and keep touch with Vader. And Bats Plus gets I think there's a little bit of contact between him and Lawrence there.
Look at
Lawrence
this
now looking
move!
to move.
Whoa! How did they make that work?
Oh, I think Lawrence is being very smart here. He had chances to push the issue there, but didn't do it. And yeah, he's got to be patient here. You can't win the race right now, but you can definitely lose it.
I agree. That was really close. It looked like he almost thought about forcing the issue there in turn 10, but he
Meanwhile,
thankfully
the two
didn't.
soft runners in the back were side by side, and there might still be side by side, but no, they're gonna settle into a line. And if anything, they need to work together and try and get through these guys. Don't want to waste time battling each other. Although, I'm sure Charger's probably saying he's faster than D'Angelo, and D'Angelo's probably wanting Chargers to go away.
Not a good race from the Aston Martins. P12 and a DSQ so far. Man, Lawrence is so much faster than Bats right here.
Yeah, but Bats, again, he's keeping up with B-Tom. B-Tom was kind of pressuring Silent for a bit. Yeah, see, Bats lifting through that fast right-hander. It tells me he's running a bit of a slightly lower downforce setup and also an aggressive setup if he can't hold it wide open through that turn. Bats on the battery. He's already drained a lot of it, but again, if you're talking about the race versus Lawrence, you have to hold him back for as long as possible. That's the strategy if you're Bats. Hold these guys at bay for as long as you can. I think Lawrence, well, no, because Bats will have DRS, so.
B-Tom, too.
Might have a battle for the lead as well.
We got two battles going on here. One for the lead. Here he goes to the outside is B-Tom.
And I'll just say this. I was riding on board with Lawrence, and you just see Bats Plus pulling away on the straight. So this is going to be super frustrating for Lawrence.
He's just got to be patient, though. Like you said, it's a long race. Lawrence has the pace. Man, he is just stalking the rear wing of Bats Plus.
I mean, we're not even a third of the way through this race. There's plenty of time. Lawrence still peaking. Got a little loose there.
Oh, and Darth Vader. Look at him.
Vader.
Man, and B-Tom is right all on Silent's rear wing.
This is an absolute train to top 5, and then God Any Weeb is right there, too. God Any Weeb's going to have to deal with Segrist here shortly.
B-Tom to the lead here, and Bats Plus wants some as well. He's going for P2, side by side into turn 1.
Segrist on God Any Weeb further back.
Bats Plus is around. There was contact with Silent, and he goes spinning around.
And Segrist, pushes God Any Weeb onto the curb. God Any Weeb did a good job not to spin there. God Any Weeb won't be happy about that. And did Bats Plus just get on the curb? Is that all that was, or?
I saw contact with Silent, and I think it was at the worst part in the S's where you could easily lose the back end of the car in that point, and I think he just did after the contact.
And this is the main race here. Taz, you run for the hills and hide. And right now, his best friend is Silent right there behind him. Although Silent has used a lot of battery trying to hold off Taz for as long as possible. And looks like Lawrence might be ready to pounce already.
Just be patient here, though. We saw contact between Silent and Bats Plus. Not sure whose fault that was, but they did tangle. And I think Lawrence is doing it right here for P2.
Yep, he got there on them pretty easily. Now Vader, if you're Vader, now it's your turn. You got to get around Silent right here.
Oh, this is going to be tight between teammates. Yep, Silent, good move right here, letting his teammate through.
Yeah, that was probably team orders. And now again.
Oh, yep, saw that coming. Dirk Shark, God Any Weeb get together, and Dirk Shark is around out of turn 2.
When God Any Weeb's probably steaming under the helmet there. I didn't catch that. Who was that? Well, let's see here. I'll check the stream replay because I have that up.
I didn't quite get the initial contact, but I saw they were side by side, and he went around. That's for sure. Dark Shark went around.
Mm-hmm.
But
D'Angelo pitted as well.
He did. Look at this top 5. Segrist now closing in on the top 4.
Yeah, Segrist. I expect him to make pretty quick work with Silent. Like I said, Segrist had a pretty good pace yesterday. He came all the way from last to finish 4th. And I think he was pressuring whoever finished 3rd. I think it was Tebow there towards the end. the Golden Race yesterday, so we know he's got pace. You know he knows his way around this track.
Battle for the lead heating up between B-Tom and Lawrence.
Lawrence with a bit of a lockup there. Yeah, that'll give Lawrence a little bit of respite here, at least until the next time around.
Not so fast. Here comes Darth Vader. He is right there, just within 2/10 of Lawrence.
I think I meant B-Tom. B-Tom's getting respite. But Silent's already burned through his battery. Cam gotten around Chargers, and maybe Chargers got around...
Whoa! These guys are going for it all right here. Got me weeping Chargers.
Yeah, those are the two guys battling. I saw Chargers' name moving up and down.
They're doing... There's been some incidents, but these guys have been doing a really good job considering how many side-by-side battles there's been.
And I want to point out that Chargers started at the back of the pack on this restart. He is making these soft tires work. This is what you need to do in the soft tires. This is what he wanted out of this stint. He's climbed up, 8 spots, 9 spots from the restart. Which is exactly what he needed to do. And now if you've got any lead, just, hopefully, them softs are going to be dying off soon. Hopefully you can just latch onto the back of him and get some free DRS for a couple laps.
Silent P5, Segrist moves into P4, so hey, you said it, man. Segrist is good at making up spots, and he's already up in the P4. B-Tom going really defensive here, trying to hold off Lawrence as long as he can, but Lawrence is starting to get to the end of the medium's prime, so he's going to have to make a move here pretty soon.
This is pretty much the race here. I think if you can hold him off for a couple more laps, I think B-Tom will have the advantage. Now, one thing that's not as strong in this game as the previous games is the undercut. That's an exception today because these guys will all be switching onto the softs. The undercut will be quite strong with the softs. And it'll be interesting to see who blinks first when we come to the end of the race. I took the softs 9 laps yesterday at the end, and they felt perfectly fine. So I mentioned you can maybe squeeze out 10 laps. I think Lawrence is setting up B-Tom here for a move.
Yeah, he's got him. He's using all the battery. B-Tom going defensive. Lawrence to the outside, side by side down into turn 1. Who is it going to be? B-Tom holds him off for now. Lawrence trying to switch back. Not enough room. He might get him on this next DRS straightaway.
Yeah, B-Tom has 0 battery, and Lawrence sees him blinking. He's dumping now. So he's going to have no battery now. I think he'll have him here, but Taz backs off smartly. And now Taz just has to latch onto the back of him.
Latch on the back of him, and watch out for Darth Vader, too.
Yeah, Darth Vader's there to pick up the pieces. Remember, I think Taz is in the better spot here than everyone in the top 4, at least. Because the mediums are going to start dying off. I think the next few laps, the hards are really going to enter their prime. At least compared to the mediums, anyway. I'd say they're already in their prime, but...
Yeah, you do have to look at the fact that guys like Silent and Cam already have 15 laps on their hard tires.
Bats Plus with a move in the last hairpin. I think it was just a mistake, more or less, by F1 Racer, but that might not be a good move, as F1 Racer will now have DRS hitting up the hill, but Bats gets a superior exit, so that might be able to hold him off.
Oh, could be a move here for P2. Darth Vader has saved some of the battery, and he is pressuring B-Tom. Let's see if he can do it here.
Yeah, and these two are, I haven't looked at it, these two are tied for the points lead, correct?
I would believe so, yeah. They're neck and neck, that's for sure.
They each have a second and a third, if I remember correctly, so...
Well, you know what? It might not matter if you got a guy like Lawrence who's come in here and he starts winning every week. It might not be either of them.
Yeah, that's the thing that they gotta keep in mind there, especially as... I mean, this is a really important part of the race here, because Taz has to stay up in DRS. And you could say the same thing for Vader as well. Segrist is hoping these guys will start battling so he can join the party.
Yeah, don't count out Segrist, man. He knows how to get these positions, and he gets it done late in the race.
Got any lead coming back on Chargers? You gotta think Chargers might be pitting this lap as Silent finally pits off the hards. Chargers into the pits. on the off the softs. He'll be switching onto the mediums and taking those to the end. And yeah, if you're Chargers, you gotta put mediums on, get your head down, bang out some laps. But yeah, he had a fantastic stint on those soft tires. Risky strategy, but he was able to make the overtakes work. And Silent, he still has at least one more pit stop to make, so he's not in a particularly good spot. Chargers is done pitting for today. But he is got his tire allocations out of the way. I was looking at D-Tom struggling to stay within that 1 second of Lawrence.
Yeah, and he's got Darth Vader right on him, so strategy will be quite interesting as we are now out of the first half of the race, and this is crunch time. This is when you have to make sure you don't speed on pit road, and the faster tires will prevail here in the second half of the race.
It will most certainly be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah. How aggressive will B-Tom be if Darth Vader can get to the back of him? He has harvested, I can't say that word, some of the battery, and he's using it right now. B-Tom is blinking. Will he make the move on the straightaway? Yes, he does. Dirk Shark and F1 Racer side by side as well through turns 1 and 2. Dirk Shark went very wide, and F1 Racer has the spot.
Yeah, and Bats Plus is able to pull away from F1 Racer quite quickly there. I'm not sure if F1 Racer's made a few mistakes recently, but yeah, Bats Plus trying him out to come back, but yeah, I think some of these guys, there's a lot of guys out here praying for a safety car so they can get back in to this race. Which I wouldn't mind a safety car right here, because all these guys have to, at least at the top, have to put on soft tires. You want to see these guys trying to take soft tires, 15, 16 laps. That would be interesting.
I would love a safety car right now. Just to spice everything up, just to screw everything up. That would be fantastic.
Remember the old Buffalo Wild Wing commercials where it was like, the game machine would say, hey, we need overtime, and like the sprinklers would go off in the field or something, or someone would flip the lever and the lights would go out as the outfielder's trying to catch the ball or something. We need one of those things. We need someone to we need a streaker or something.
I think Chabar would be willing to do that.
Is he in Sao Paulo?
Knowing how much he travels, I wouldn't be surprised if he is. Yeah, we'll get him, or we'll get TJ. TJ's not in the race anymore. TJ, go get yourself a ticket.
He's in the paddock.
Oh yeah, he's down there. Yeah, good. You're not racing right now. You're in Brazil. Go get naked out on the track. We need a safety car right here. Leave a comment for all the viewers. Leave a comment as to who should streak right now to bring out a late safety car and mix up the strategy and cause some chaos here at the end of the race, as if it hasn't been chaotic enough. And we talked about Seagrass making up spots. Well, he had a spin out of turn 2, so he's lost a couple of the spots that he's made up since the start of the race.
And once again, because of that, it's Godney Weeb just making steady progress up the field, and Seagrass diving into the pits.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Godney Weeb, man. We're not sure where he's going to finish, but he's done a great job so far.
Now, did Seagrass... Yeah, Seagrass started on the softs, I believe. Yeah, so he's putting on the hards right now. This, I believe, would probably be a scheduled pit stop, although he'd probably be pitting a lap or two earlier since he lit up the mediums. Bats Plus putting on the mediums. He'll be going to the end as well. And let's imagine Bats Plus to... I think he'd be able to catch Seagrass here. Be careful on the exit of pit road. Haven't seen anyone been in on the exit of pit road. You usually see at least one person do it. I don't recall that happening.
Don't say that now. Now it's going to happen once you see Lawrence and Darth Vader come in. One of them's going to hit the pit wall and completely DNF. Which, we did see that on Tuesday. I believe Kaz in the Mercedes hit the pit wall on a pit entry, actually.
How do you... Okay, I don't know how you do that. It's a pretty easy pit entry, in my opinion, but I don't want to... Now, going back to what I was saying earlier, the undercut is pretty powerful here. So, if one of these guys wants to game one, get on the softs early, just to get in front of the other guy, wouldn't be the worst thing, but again, you gotta think, softs have to go to the end of the race here. But you know, at the same time, you can't let Lawrence get too far away.
True, and you have to keep in mind too, B-Tom still has the pit for the medium, so when is he going to do that?
Will be interesting.
Yeah. Chabar says he needs a ride down to Brazil, so I don't think that's going to happen.
That's right, because B-Tom was on the... B-Tom started on the soft, so he will be pitting here soon. He put on the mediums. He might be hitting this lap, actually. 14 laps on mediums is what's suggested by Codemasters. He might be pitting right now.
Right on, Charles. You know what? You're the Tony Romo of TCR. That was really impressive.
Well, let me tell you, Jim, it's, you just gotta... I don't know.
Do you, what play are you calling right here for Lawrence and Darth Vader? When they pit, what's their play call going to be over the radio? What's the key word?
I don't know.
Anything fancy or just come in and pit?
Twinkie X-ray right too. I don't know. That sounds good.
Yeah, sounds fancy. Sounds like something you can't really understand, which is football terminology in a nutshell. So, right on.
I think if you're Vader, if you're Lawrence, you could probably wait a lap or two to pit, and you probably still have B-Tom covered. Keep in mind that they'll be pitting onto the softs. Now, if you're Vader, on the other hand, do you put on the softs early just to cover off B-Tom and to try and catch up to Lawrence? I mean, it'd be risky. I'm always someone who likes to go if someone's around. It's Segrist is around again. That's unfortunate. Oh, and he contacts Stanley. I don't know if there was any damage there. It looked like fairly light contact, but I mean, sometimes in this game, you can ram into someone and not get any damage, and the lightest tap will just simply make your car explode. So who knows?
Yeah, Segrist, he had a good first half of the race, but it has gone into a downward spiral in the second half with a couple of mistakes.
Yep, and indeed. Whoa. Oh, I just had a really weird glitch, but
anyway. That was a lag spike if I've ever seen one, but he's trying to go for P11 as Bats has a penalty. Who is it going to be between these two into turns 1 and 2 as Segrist has got the move? For now, Stanley trying to make something happen. He's going to have DRS.
Red Bull teammates neck and neck front. Cam with his weird pit on lap 1 strategy is not in a bad spot. There's at least 3 guys in front of him that have to pit. There's a lot of guys in front of him that have to pit yet. Got Any Weave, by the way, is in 3rd. Just figured I'd point that out. I think he has the softs left. Yeah, if not, he's just staying out. If he has the mediums left, he's losing time, but it's one of those things, you wait for a safety car or not. Dirt Shark also, I think, has the softs left, or it could just be waiting for a safety car. You have a side-by-side, Silent overtaking Dirt Shark. Dirt Shark on really old cards, Silent on decently used mediums. F1 Racer, looking to pit here soon. If I'm Vader, I'm pitting now. He's losing time to Lawrence as well. Yeah, 11 to go. You can stretch that. It won't be very comfortable at the end, but you can stretch it. Like I said, I made 9 laps work perfectly fine last night. I think you got to pit now. Just try and claw back a little bit of time on Lawrence. Yeah, I'm saying he's still going.
Yeah, they both stay out. They'll do another lap here, and I can imagine they're going to pit probably maybe next lap, if not, then the lap after.
As Andy Wu passes the lapped car of...
Andy Wu's the lap car. He goes off into the dirt to give way.
That's interesting. I mean, if you are Andy Wu, you want to stay as close to Darth Vader as possible, because when these 2 guys pit and you get a safety car, then hey, you're back in the race. But and I don't know what he's doing now. He's completely off track.
He's burning the battery at 100 miles an hour, right? Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Andy, stay in the race. If the leaders pit and then you get back on the lead lap and a safety car comes out, you're sitting pretty. But yeah, I think Vader might have missed his chance to go for a race-winning gamble because he's not going to win the race from where he's sitting right now. He could easily get second or third as he completely misses an apex there. But yeah, 10 laps ago, that's when a couple guys pitted for softs yesterday. He stays out again. Yeah, I disagree, but as Andy Wu does some more spinning, B-Tom on the back of Got Any Weed. Now, Got Any Weed could be due to pit anytime now. And he will not, but Paz will make quick work of him. Andy Wu retires in the pit. Yeah.
Fastest lap for B-Tom.
Yeah, he's going to be in a real good spot. The thing is, Lawrence on those soft tires, I think Taz will probably get the undercut on him and jump him. But man, those soft tires, he is going to be cooking towards the end here.
Well, somebody who's cooking is Bats Plus, trying to make up some ground, and he gets Chargers as one of his victims here. Bats started off pretty well, but he's going to be in for a pretty mediocre finish when it's all said and done. We have a yellow in sector 1 and 2. Who is that?
That's Andy Wu's car, I think.
Mm.
What's Lawrence going to do? He's staying out again.
Wow.
Ooh, and now Vader comes into the pits. Again, like I said, I made him the softs last 9 laps, and they felt perfectly fine yesterday. So, like I said, if I was Vader, I would have gambled and maybe push it a couple more laps, but we shall see. It'll be interesting to see how far behind B-Tom he is. And does Got Any Weed pit? He does not. So Vader's going to be behind Got Any Weed potentially. And yeah, he will be. Look how far ahead B-Tom is. So if Got Any Weed doesn't pit here in the next couple laps, which I'm thinking he should be pitting any moment now. Like I said, 8 laps are recommended on the 3-stop for the softs. So that is the recommended by the game. Again, as I've been saying repeatedly, you can make them go further than that without much difficulty, but yeah, if Got Any Weed decides to stay out, this could really hurt Vader's chances of doing anything with the top 2.
I'm telling you what, though, Charles, we're going to see a showdown between Lawrence and B-Tom because Lawrence still has the pit, and based on how far he is ahead of B-Tom will pass him as here he comes into the pits. I think B-Tom will get by Lawrence, and Lawrence is going to have to chase him down.
Yeah, definitely. Got Any Weed having a solid race. I expect him to be into the pits this time by.
He should, at least. He needs to come in this time.
I mean, it's also one of those things, too. If you're in his position, yeah, see, this is going to really frustrate Vader. But if you're in his position, I mean, listen, you could pit right now and get your ideal, 7th, 8th, 6th place finish or wherever he's going to finish at. Or you could stay out a couple more laps and hope for a safety car and potentially be in a really good spot when the restart happens. That could be what Got Any Weed's trying to do here. But yeah, this is going to really frustrate Vader here, because he'll probably catch him here in the second sector. 2 seconds. Lawrence will catch B-Tom.
Yeah.
B-Tom has all of his battery left.
It's just a matter of can he get by him. Hey, we were robbed of a finish like this on Tuesday. I was on the softs trying to chase down J&B, and J&B got into a crash. What will B-Tom do? I mean, we have said this season because we've seen a circumstance where B-Tom was going for the lead and there was a crash in Australia. How will he race Lawrence? I know it's a losing fight for B-Tom just based on the circumstances here, but B-Tom, this is for the win right here against one of your championship rivals.
Got Any Weed finally pits. But yeah, what you gotta do, you just gotta frustrate him and maybe force him into a mistake. And I said you don't know how many warnings he's sitting on either. So like just one little step over the white line, and that could be it. And if you're Vader, you're just wanting these guys to battle and slow each other down, and that's really the only way he's going to get into this battle. Yeah, Lawrence doing a good job saving his battery as well, but he still has only half of what B-Tom has.
Yeah, that is interesting. B-Tom has a lot more battery compared to Lawrence, and if we want to check on Got Any Weed real quick, he fell down to P8. He could maybe get a couple more spots with Bat Plus's penalty and Chargers not being too far up the road. So Got Any Weed, his platinum debut, going pretty well.
I will say, I criticized Cam for pitting on lap 1 on the softs, which I believe was intentional. He's currently in line for a 4th place finish. Because remember, Silent still has to pit because he didn't pit under the safety car. So, Cam, with the weird strategy that on paper definitely isn't the fastest, looking to make it work. He might get caught by Bats Plus here, but Bats Plus has a 3-second time penalty, so.
Take a look at this here. Lawrence is within half a second. I don't think he's going to get him here in the turn 4, so Lawrence might be on his rear wing throughout Sector 2, and this is a perfect time for B-Tom to try and do something at least. That he won't have any straightaways anytime soon. This is it, though. This is for the win. B-Tom on older mediums trying to hold off a fast Lawrence on fresh softs.
And for B-Tom, I mean, just dump the battery for a couple laps. I mean, it's going to be very hard for him to hold this, but you just gotta apply the pressure and make this pass as difficult as you possibly make it, and just hope for something. Let's see what type of exit he gets. They both get good exits, and I think that might be all she wrote. But B-Tom, so B-Tom is a little bit lower downforce setup than Lawrence does.
That's huge at this point in the race, going very defensive. He used a lot of the battery to stay ahead, but you got to remember there is one more DRS straight right here, and Lawrence is going to get him.
Here comes Lawrence. DRS open.
Defensive.
Both of them on the battery. Oh, no! Bit of contact. Does he have damage?
Does he have damage? And look at how much battery he has wasted trying to get around him.
No visible damage. I'm saying that doesn't really mean a whole lot. But yeah, you definitely feel B-Tom definitely gave him the squeeze there. I don't think there's anything worth investigating, but it's just kind of... he wasn't giving him much of anything, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is for the win right here between two of the fastest drivers in TCR. B-Tom is going to do everything he can to hold him off here. Oh, Lawrence got a great exit.
He did. Oh, F1 Racer! What happened now? He's in it. Yeah, okay. Once again, got a little bit excited.
Man.
Late safety car would really throw a wrench. Actually, I don't know if it would do anything at this point. Lawrence! Oh, he gave him the fake! Oh, I thought he was going to go dive down the inside. That would have been a great move if he would have gone for it.
Trying so hard to get around him. Great racing between the top two. What will B-Tom do this lap?
Lawrence has drained his battery.
Oh.
B-Tom again just kind of comes over and nudges them right before the braking zone. Oh, jeez. It's on the stream.
He is doing such a good job at holding off Lawrence, and I think Lawrence thought this was going to be easy, but B-Tom is making this as challenging as possible, and B-Tom knows how to win races, and I'm sure he's been in this scenario before. I just think it's going to be really hard to keep doing what he's doing, though, for 3 more laps.
Yeah, if you're Lawrence, I almost just kind of back off at this point, charge up the battery, because you don't have much left. Because B-Tom has a decent amount of battery left. Oh, but Lawrence is he's right there.
I think B-Tom's got a lot better straight line speed.
Yeah.
This is going to be harder than we think, you guys. I don't know if this is a guaranteed win for Lawrence, but he's going to have to try something really risky right here, such as going to the inside in turn 1. He's on the curbs, nearly loses the car, going back and forth to keep it straight, and he is now in a big hole.
I mean, that might actually be good for him to just take a step back. You still have the better tires. These tires will be better till the end of the race in the old mediums, because these softs can last pretty easily 8 laps. Recharge the battery a little bit. Oh man, he's only got really got
shootout.
2 more laps to do. 2 more laps to get this move done into turn 1 anyway.
Exactly, a classic shootout between 2 of the fastest drivers in Platinum, and yeah, I think B-Tom's in a good spot. I mean, there's been a couple of questionable moments, Charles, of whether he squeezed him off the track, but honestly, hats off to B-Tom so far. Great defensive work.
Doesn't look like Lawrence is going to be close enough this time. He's not using any battery either. They're even on battery now. So, next lap could be Lawrence's time because Lawrence does not have, V-Tom does not have a battery advantage anymore. I would save it this lap too if I'm Lawrence, and that's what he's doing.
Well, this is it. I mean, Lawrence only has a couple more chances to make this happen, and I can tell he's pushing just by how he exited turn 4.
Meanwhile, in other news, looks like God and Wee could be setting up Chargers here shortly. Again, Sauce versus really old mediums.
Got Weave in for a good finish in his Platinum debut, but up at the front, coming to the last lap, and somehow B-Tom has held off Lawrence on about 5 laps of soft tires, and Lawrence, I thought he was going to lose it right there. He's got to make something happen right here, I think. He holds off the battery. Now he's using it. Coming to the final lap. Here we go for the win. Lawrence going to the outside.
Oh, B-Tom just pushed him onto the grass there.
Lawrence has got to do it right here. He's got to use the battery and try and get around him. I think B-Tom is pretty far out in front. He's blinking. He doesn't have any battery left. Neither does Lawrence. Into turn 4, and B-Tom could be in position to win this race.
I liked both of B-Tom's defenses into turn 4. I'll be honest, I didn't like that last one there into turn 1. That's just kind of cutting across and really just straight up forcing him onto the grass as, like, Got Any Weeb is trying to pass Chargers here, but Chargers has more straight line speed. Oh, we have a weird lag spike glitch thing happening.
Yeah. All right. Last couple of corners. Can Lawrence get by him on the straightaway before the finish? It's been a classic shootout between two of the fastest drivers. Lawrence using the battery. I don't know if he's going to get there. It is going to be a photo finish. B-Tom is in front on older mediums coming to the finish line. B-Tom holds off Lawrence and wins the Brazilian Grand Prix Round 3. An unbelievable job on 14-lap old medium tires.
All right, we're going to have a battle to the line here. Oh, as Chargers gets a little loose. Can God Any Weeb get a superior exit? He does not. Poor exit by God Any Weeb. Chargers has 0 battery left, though. Cam
DRS.
P4, Bats plus P5, even with the spin. Not quite good enough. I think Chargers had more straight line speed. Silent got right onto the back of them. Should have pitted under a safety car, but despite the fact, he basically made a full pit stop up on the guys around him. So props to Silent, he definitely had pace today. Dirt Shark with the last point, although he's ghosted. So is he AI? Did he leave? Will this count?
Not sure. But right behind him, D'Angelo, man. Even if D'Angelo gets 10th, just a bad day for Aston Martin. You're talking about an 11th and a DSQ, just not what they were looking for.
Oh boy. Alright, well. So I guess, are we just going to do a Discord call for everybody?
Yeah. Well, I think, because we have Lawrence on PC, so we'll just get everyone in.
And Vader.
Dude, you know what? I can't wait to hear this interview. I think there's going to be a little chippiness going on, because like you said, B-Tom did a great job. I did see that moment. Ooh, look at that reef. I didn't get a reef on Tuesday. Come on. There was a couple of close moments where B-Tom definitely squeezed Lawrence. I'm curious to see what Lawrence says. Yeah, we'll get this party started. Not party, but you get what I'm saying.
I'm not a steward, but just from my racing eye, the ones into turn 4 were fair in my opinion. I thought the one going into turn 1, the last lap, was a little naughty in my opinion. But yeah, it's just.
Yeah. Well, I will make a group here once I get the. I got to go over to the the race results here and make sure everybody is accounted for. Yeah, that was, man, how about these finishes this season? Round 1, you had the last lap shootout between Silent and Seafreeze, and today you had the last lap shootout between B-Tom and Lawrence.
Yeah, no, those were exciting last week too. But yeah, going through, like I said, Cam with the really weird strategy finished his 4th. But hey, he started pretty far back in the pack, so yeah, I feel like he's in a position where he kind of had to do something. He made it work for him. Bats, even with the spin, P5. Got any lead, P7 on his full-time Platinum debut. I think he reserved a couple times last year, so. And then Dirt Shark, like I said, last penalty, the last points, I mean. He didn't get a penalty, but that won't count depending on when he disconnected, so. Anyway.
Yeah, so I'm getting this set. Hey, Darth Vader, dude. I mean, he's got 3 podiums to start off the season. Same with B-Tom. I think we have started to establish our championship favorites, and really, it could be the top 3 in this race. Which, I didn't get the predictions exactly right in order, but I did predict the top 3, just not in order, though. So.
Yeah, well, what did I say? I had Vader P3.
You did.
Who did I have winning? I think I had Lawrence. I had Lawrence winning, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was almost correct.
Yeah. All right, man. So I will make this right now. I should have everybody added, so we will get this started. Let's get Lawrence. Let's get Mr. Taz. Let's get Mr. Darth Vader. Do I not have Darth Vader? I should have Darth Vader.
It was probably under professional in the...
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep. Professional. Taz, I'll get you. And I will get Lawrence. All right.
Well, just based off the chat, Lawrence is not particularly happy at the moment.
All right, should be an interesting interview then.
Well, let me join.
Yeah, once we get you in here, then we'll. I would just mute your mic on PlayStation. Hello. Okay. I think we have everybody. So let's get this started with P3 Darth Vader. 3 podiums to start off the season. A great start to the season for you. Not quite able to get up to the top 2, but talk about your race and how you think your strategy went.
The race was okay. It was long, sweaty. Jeez. Don't want to do that again. But to be on the podium 3 times in a row in 3 races for the season, that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy. I just didn't have the pace to be up with the top 2 guys today. I thought there was moments of the race where I could hang with them, but I think the setup was just a little bit more towards, higher downforce. I just didn't have the speed on the straights to, keep up. And then I didn't maximize the setup I had in the sector 2. So yeah, just a long tough race. Happy to get the points, minimize the points damage, I guess you could call it. I lost Taz in both the sprint and the race, but all in all, it could have been a lot worse, considering just didn't have a lot of practice, but he didn't either, so that's not an excuse. Other than that, it's kind of boring, honestly, just being out in P3 by myself. So I could see and could hear Cody trying to overtake Taz many times and could hear the frustration in his voice. So I'll probably let them kind of hash that out here in a second.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with questions for you, but like you said, you were kind of in your own little world today. The top 2 were duking it out.
Yeah, I mean, and the start was kind of sketchy too. Starting on the hard tires, trying to defend from guys behind, and luckily didn't have any crashes or wrecks. And didn't get the best of starts. Had a lot of wheel spin. Almost lost it to Haas behind. Felt like I cut him off a little bit, but it was just my one defensive move if he tries to report it. So I don't think it's anything major. But yeah, boring race. P3 got the points. Move on. Next week is China.
Yeah, there you go. Charles, any questions for Professional, aka Darth Vader, aka Skywalker?
Yeah, minus the last one.
Yeah.
Debate that. There we go.
But no, I was just wondering, because obviously you were kind of sitting in P3. Was there any thought going through your mind to maybe go for a gamble and like pit with like 12 laps to go, put on the soft stand just to try and make the gap and do something there, or was it just?
Yeah, I was thinking about it, like doing 10 laps on the softs and pitting lap 26 instead of lap 27. But I didn't want to potentially, because I've never done that many laps on the softs. I didn't want to just spin or have something like what happened in Medbay on the last lap of Australia. Have the tires too worn or just lose focus or something. Yeah. So sorry for the lackluster interview. It was pretty boring in P3. I don't know what else to say. It's like I'm just watching the grass grow, hoping the guys in front spin or crash, which unfortunately didn't happen. For me, I'm glad they finished and they got the points they got, but yeah, kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Sometimes these days are the best days because
That is true. That is true.
You're still right there with B. Tom and Lawrence, probably for the championship lead when it's all said and done, just because you've had 3 podiums so far this year. So just
that and also the gap between me and Seafreeze or myself and my teammates Island, like that gap is extending. So even though it may not have been the perfect result for me today, it was still a good result in terms of the championship. Looking at the overall picture with my all the competitors, not just Taz. So
right on. All right. So now it gets interesting. P2, Lawrence, another great week after winning in your debut. It looked like things were about to go your way. You had the fresh sauce, but just could not get around B. Tom. Talk about those final laps and just what you saw from your point of view.
Oh, man. You hear me all right? That sound good?
Yeah, I got you.
Awesome, thank you. Man, there's a lot I could say, but out of respect to the stream, probably shouldn't. But I kind of to take part of your question and try to answer it. I felt pretty happy with the car. I think maybe a couple things I could have done differently there to maybe not put myself in the spot I was in. But neither here nor there. It's on me to figure out. But man, I tried to be as clean as I could, trying to go for an overtake, and this is not a good way to put it, man. I didn't feel like it was given back, quite simply. I don't know what to tell you. I got run to the grass like 3 times on my end. Like, I tried to do everything I can to try to get a clean overtake, and I'm having to drive my car to not get killed, Like, that's the way I can put it.
Yeah.
Either finish second or get killed.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You did finish. You finished in second. You were able to keep the car straight. Do you take this into consideration going forward as to how not only you race B-Tom, but maybe some other people, or do you just try and put this in the rearview mirror and just kind of move on and not focus on what happened?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, because I had battles with other people, and I had no issue. They gave me space, I gave them space. We had good racing, so not particularly worried with other people per se. But I think there's stuff I can do on my end to put myself in a better spot. So yeah, it's in the position I was in here, but I should have done better on my end. Like I can't just mow or woe is me. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's a couple things I could do differently, I suppose. But that's for me to figure out when they come.
Yeah, exactly. Charles, any questions for P2?
Yeah. What was your thought process behind starting on the hards? I know the safety cars probably didn't work in that strategy's favor, but he said I like that strategy. It worked good for me yesterday. But what was your thought process in starting on the hards today? I figured that was my best chance to run my pace. I felt like I had good pace in the sprint, so if I just kind of got a little bit of open track once the softs pitted, because I felt like softs are good gamble if you can get a safety car in the first 8 or 9 laps, and you know what? That's how the race played out. So kudos to them for taking that swing at it, because I think the medium was the best last stint tire, and Tom definitely made good work of that. But I felt like the hard medium soft or a hard soft medium was my optimal strategy for what I felt like I could do with the car. So just didn't play out with the same curves like you're saying, but you know what? I'd still do it again. I think there's better things I could have done in that race. Could have made that strategy work better. So I'm not too worried. I'm not too upset because I threw stuff.
Right on. All right, so now we move on to our round 3 winner of the Brazilian Grand Prix, B-Tom. After a good fight there at the end, you were on those older medium tires, and there was some close racing there, some moments where you guys were kind of squeezed, very close racing. Just talk about your defensive moves from your point of view.
Yeah, well, I mean, I knew it was going to be close at the end, just because, I mean, the softs are going to be a lot quicker towards the end of the race. And even with the undercut, I wasn't going to gain much time from it. So I tried to save as much battery as I can, or as I could, in preparation for that. I think I got run to 80-90%. Because I knew it was going to go away very quickly once it got DRS.
We can hear someone stream. So if you cut the pulse stream.
What's up?
Oh, we can either just hear some stream in the background, so. Just,
I don't think it's me. So, but, yeah, I knew pretty much every overtaking opportunity he'd have would come into turn 1 and turn 4. So I would just cover the inside, and then once he picked his line, I would, react accordingly. I noticed that he ran a higher downforce setup because I saw his speed trap data in quality. And I was a bit on the lower end of that, so I knew he was going to be really quick in race pace. So, yeah, I felt that my defensive driving was fair enough. Obviously, I wasn't going to make it easy for him. We're both fighting for the win. But honestly, I think if there was any contact, it was probably down the net code because they did have a lot of screen freezes during the race. But yeah, I mean, I'm always going to fight people hard, but at the end of the day, it's no fun if, you're just shoving them onto the grass or off the track, so I never try and do that, but yeah. I can see how, that could be seen as a little too aggressive, but yeah. I don't think I did anything wrong there, so yeah. And I mean, it was a good battle. I think he went for a lunge in the turn 1 last second. So I did try to leave a little bit of space there. But yeah, other than that, I wanted to start on the softs because I wanted track position. Because of him running higher wings and having better race pace as a result. But yeah, that's really what I have with my thoughts on the race. I'm kind of scatterbrained right now, but yeah.
Cool. So after these 3 races, I think you're probably going to be the points leader going into China. So how are you feeling about that track?
I don't know. I'll just wait and see where I am after quali. Because I mean, I've gotten faster at every track, but so has everyone else. So I don't really set any targets. I just see where I am and go from there. So yeah.
Cool. Charles, any questions?
I think you pretty much covered everything. Because you said kind of bounce around a little bit. But yeah, pretty good at China and All-Star race last year, so I expect to see more of the same of more of B-Tom up front.
Per usual. Well, unless if anybody else has anything to say, I think that will do it for the broadcast tonight. Charles, any final thoughts on this race? I mean, there was just so much that happened, not just with the strategy and the sprint race, but pretty much everything in between when it comes to all the incidents we saw and then that close finish at the end.
Yeah, really a lot of close racing, a lot of argy-barginess, and a lot of weird spins, but ultimately a lot of guys, making, providing a really entertaining finish. We'll see if there's anything else to come from it after the race, but yeah, I'd say shout out to Cam for making his weird strategy work. And yeah, Bats Plus, a solid run despite a spin and only one having a 3-second time penalty, still finishing P5. We know he's pretty fast at China. Saw that at the All-Star race last year, or last season. It was last year. So yeah, a lot of talking points, and we continue into next week.
I think if anything, we've kind of established who the front runners are going to be for the Platinum Championship, which we really can't say about Golden after yesterday's race. SBM looking quick, but Platinum's got a few front runners, and we'll find out who really is going to pull away with this next week in China for round 4 of the Platinum class, and we're back to normal. No sprint race, no 3-tire allocation, just a traditional race in China for the Silver class, Golden class, and Platinum class. All 3 races next week in China for round 4. Same time, same place. But for now, I'm Camden Luca. That has been Sir Charles, and we will see you next week in China.